Hello and welcome back to ClanGen. We are back today with FrogClan, our clan of mutated cats, in the wake of some devastating events in which we lost our leader and a young apprentice simultaneously in a monster attack. Unfortunately, we did get an omen that was only the beginning, and we are going to be facing more danger from two legs and their monsters in the very near future. So, newly named Drizzlestar. Hi, River. Hey. So, newly named Drizzlestar now has to lead the clan through that danger, which will be happening here in a few very short moons. Hopefully, we are ready for that by that time, but we are still a very small clan, and a lot of the clan isn't feeling the best at the time. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off by time skipping. So as we're moving into New Leaf here, Lotus Shade, our current medicine cat, is still grieving the loss of her mate, Jumpstar, so she is still not up for working, so we still have a higher chance of cats being sick and dying right now. Drizzlestar does call the clan to meeting though, and declares Templepaw to be a warrior. They are now called Temple Drip and are celebrated for their logic. Brookfruit does think that they're going to have a small litter, and he decides to move into the nursery to prepare for their coming kits. So Wisteria and Brookfruit already have a litter together. Wisteria was functioning alongside a surrogate, and this time Brookfruit is now along a different surrogate. So we're gonna have to see what their clan, or what their kids are gonna look like here soon. But I'm hoping that we get another roll of 6 kits. So this is Temple Drip. She is responsible and smart now. She is still injured from a cat bite as well. Carnation Paw is her brother. He is still trying to earn his medicine cat name. So while Brookfruit is preparing for his kits to come into the nursery, he's not going to be able to work for the mediator. Another thing that was pointed out to me in the comments, and that I kind of noticed in editing but didn't add in a note about, is that Hawkpaw here, with his white blotches, really does almost seem to have a wing along his back here, which is really cool. Okay, so Shorefleck eyes Carnation Paw as younger cat approaches, ears slightly drawn back. The prospect of being bossed around by an apprentice is downright humiliating, and the warrior is not looking forward to this experience. Shorefleck scowls at Carnation Paw as they try to direct the older cat around, standing stock still and staring at the apprentice down. Shorefleck is not in the mood for an apprentice to lord their authority over them, and they spend the entire patrol refusing to do anything useful. Shorefleck, that is not really very helpful when Carnation Paw is our only working medicine cat. Okay, so it's a relatively uneventful moon. The apprentices pretty much just all went out on training programs, and nothing very much happened there. So we're just going to go ahead and time skip again. As we're moving into Greenleaf, Carnation Paw has waited a long time for this day. Heart pounding, they listen intently as Lotus Shade names him Carnation Tuft after their kindness. In the quiet of the nursery, and the nest they spent so long preparing, Brookfruit and Wisteria welcome a single kitten, who we're going to have to roll for. Lotus Shade is still grieving, but Temple Drip has healed well from their cat bite. If Temple Drip has developed any kind of scar, they will get a random mutation. We'll have to roll for that, though. We'll just give here a quick scroll like usual. I'm not really surprised that Wisteria and Brookfruit only had the one kitten. Oh my gosh. Partridge kit. Just because last time they had so many kits. Okay, well, Brookfruit and Wisteria Berries, good luck with their surrogates, has continued. Their surrogate does have multiple mutations. I'm just gonna have to see now what those are. So we rolled extremely well and we got the max number of mutations for Partridge Kit's mother. Okay, so I just went ahead and I rolled for Partridge Kit's mother, the surrogate that Brookfruit used. And she got a seal nose, adaptable vision, muscular body, multi-tail, but nub paws. So the nub paws is the negative. Brookfruit himself has poisonous blood. So Partridge Kit is going to definitely have something on their body, be it muscular or poison blood. But it'll be one of the two. And then we're just gonna roll 50-50 chance of him keeping any of them. Okay. Partridge Kit did not get the best of luck ever here. He kept adaptable vision from his mother. He got poison blood between the poison muscular body types. And he kept the nub paws, so he doesn't really have paws. Also, as a side note here, I did promise a few different kit names to people in the comments section. Partridge Kit kind of is close to one of them, but I don't think it's close enough. So I'm going to go ahead and keep Partridge Kit as Partridge Kit, and hopefully a future kit will be named after the suggestions. And Drizzlestar is formally into her elder model now. Here is Carnation Tuft. He turned out to be wise with a strong connection to StarClan. Brookfruit thinks that Carnation Tuft is going to be a good medicine cat. Ploompaw got caught trying to sneak out of camp without a warrior. That's honestly about it for what everybody is doing right now. We've only got 3 moons before this, so let's see what patrols have in store for us today. Okay, once again, nothing really happened there. We just fought a few foxes off. Drizzlestar is having some trouble keeping her 3 apprentices in line. I think she may be starting to regret not trusting another cat with Jumpstar's apprentice, but I think she still feels responsible for taking over Jumpstar's legacy. Drizzlestar wakes one day after moons of numbness and feels as though the world is less dull, and Lotus Shade tells himself that they can't let these feelings consume them, instead they have to learn to live with it. So I think both Drizzlestar and Lotus Shade had some very long talks together about what happened with Jumpstar, and both came to the conclusion that she wouldn't want them to have their grief for her be all-consuming, and that she would want them to continue to help their clan, especially in the important roles that they're in, before it's too late. Saffron Paw has excelled at every task placed before them. Despite their young age, they are more than ready to be a warrior. They are given the name Saffron Fade, honoring their responsibility. Which is good, because we want as many warriors as we can going into this event. They'll have the highest possible chances when they're warriors. So here's Saffron Fade. She was made an apprentice at only 10 moons old. She turned out to be righteous and a great hunter. Wow. This is Partridge Kit. Oh, he also turned out with emerald eyes. Okay. And the adaptable vision again. It's really interesting how well that's turned out for us for the most part. Okay, so Drizzlestar, who is Saffron Paw's former mentor, is lecturing them on the warrior code. So I'm wondering if she was just really favoring Saffron Fade over the other two for some reason. And that's part of what allowed Saffron Fade to become a warrior so much sooner. and to end up with the righteous personality that she has. So Lotus Shade is feeling a little bit better. She's thinking about taking on a new apprentice to pass on her wisdom to. Brookfruit is considering sabotaging relationships, but luckily he's not feeling up for doing so because he's still caring for Partridge Kit. Temple Drip is wondering how Saffron Fade is doing. So I'm wondering if Saffron Fade was really pressured to step up as a warrior sooner than she was maybe even ready for, just because so many cats are wondering about her, or maybe even doubting her ability here. So Sardine Paw and Bloom Paw are both helping reinforce the camp wall with brambles. So I think that Drizzle Star is definitely trying to get everybody as prepared as they possibly can for Two Legs raiding their camp. And Hawkpaw wants to make Drizzle Star proud. While out training, Hawkpaw stumbles upon a bush of red berries. Drizzle Star is patrol leader. We have to proceed. And unfortunately, Hawkpaw does get deathberry poisoning. They are rushed back to camp. Aw, Hawkpaw, no. I really hope Hawkpaw pulls through. I'm not even gonna say it. I don't want to jinx anything. Okay, nothing else really happened that go here. And we're really running low on time before the event happens, so here we go. Sardine Paw sits in front of the leader, tail twitching back and forth as they await their warrior name. They are eager for the ceremony to be done so they can go out there and make sure the clan is safe. Finally, Drizzle Star looks down upon them and names them Sardine Rain after their dignity. Drizzle Star rests their muzzle on Bloom Mallow's head and declares them to be a full warrior FrogClan, honoring their realism. So 2 more apprentices are named warriors. Unfortunately, we're into the worst news here. Masira Berry overexerted themselves and is feeling sore. Snippaw went out of camp alone to practice swimming, but their inexperience led to them being swept up by a riptide. Driftburn, who was in camp but still young and spry enough, heard their cries and saved them, but Snippaw almost drowned. And Hawkpaw hacks and sputters on his own blood, knowing the end is soon. I don't know if Lotus Shade's experience is going to make a difference, but I'm really hoping that Hawkpaw is able to pull through this. Hawkpaw being so close to death doesn't stop him from judging others' abilities. Oh, Driftburn now has his Elder Morph. So Snippaw is having a hard time keeping up with their training, which is probably especially true right now since she has some water in her lungs. And Hawkpaw's condition has elevated to red cough, which I'm not sure if there's a cure for, but I'm really hoping that there is. Drizzle Star is joining a clan meeting that she must call later today, and in this meeting she is going to tell all of the cats about the danger that is to come and what they can try and do to prepare themselves. Lotus Shade is worried about Partridge Kit. She does not feel that Partridge Kit has the best capability to defend themselves from Two Legs that are to come, and in a way she's not wrong. Kits are naturally going to have a harder time with some of these events. Temple Drip is picking up on the tense atmosphere, and she isn't sure that she should be idling around right now. She has been told that she needs to rest and save her strength, but she doesn't feel like that's the best course of action for her right now. Saffron Fade is cheering on her littermates that were given their warrior names after her. Sardine Rain is wondering how Snippaw is doing. She turned into a fierce, great fighter, though. And Bloom Mallow is missing Pale Kit. He turned into a responsible, fantastic teacher. Blue Mallow is probably just reflecting that Pale Kit should have been here with the rest of them. And Hawkpaw is being scolded for his reckless behavior and eating the berries, I'm sure. Any words of wisdom? Jumpstar walks in Drizzlestar's dreams to impart wisdom and guidance on what is to come. So, Jumpstar is here with her clan still. Thrushstripe has seen Soft Apple's future demise. I just really hope that that's not going to be during this event. To Lotus Shade's concern, their warrior escort isn't usually quiet. When prompted on their troubles, Blue Mallow comments that they could not help but think of what legacy they would leave behind as StarClan calls upon them in this upcoming event. Lotus Shade and Blue Mallow spend their time on the patrol discussing how to StarClan the end of their life doesn't mean it was a true end. Even in StarClan, cats have their role to play. Blue Mallow's legacy would shine brighter than any star. Comforted, Blue Mallow helps Lotus Shade bring back herbs. In one of the worst storms, herbs were strewn about and prey in hiding, leaving Carnation Tuft in a grumpy mood. Saffron and Fade attempts to cheer him up, though. So she splashes water from a puddle at Carnation Tuft. Unfortunately, Carnation Tuft turns and hisses at Saffron and Fade that they don't have time for kick games. The two continue, but Carnation Tuft's sour mood distracts them from any useful herbs they could find. Carnation Tuft is also probably just feeling the strain of the danger to come, too. Temple Drip got a very unfortunate luck, and a dog got a lucky hit on them, but the cats were still able to drive out the dog. Temple Drip did not escape without a torn pelt, however. In this patrol, an eagle swoops on wing overhead. The patrol watches as it tries to bring up an impressively huge fish, but isn't able to really take it into the air. Maybe it's too heavy. I really hope their collective experience can drive out this eagle, because I don't want the eagle to hurt them, but we have to proceed here. And luckily we just used the eagle as a scout and managed to bring back a catch as worthy as the eagle's. Also, I'm not sure if this popped up on some of the other things, but Lotus Shade has decided to move on from her love with Jumpstar. Unfortunately, right before this event, Hawkpaw does die of red cough. He takes his place in StarClan, his loss is mourned, and the clanmates will miss the spot that Hawkpaw took up in their lives. They share stories, and those that were closest take him to his final resting place. Hawkpaw did reach 12 moons though, and look how pretty he was. I'm so sad. We did have quite a few health-related events happen though. Lotus Shade has gotten fleas. Soft Apple finally wakes after moons of numbness, feeling as if the world is less dull from his loss of Sea Bass Paw. Wisteria Berry's soreness is gone. Temple Drip's pelt is no longer torn, and again, Hawkpaw passes. Sardine Rain was seen loitering around Raccoon Clan's border looking for a specific cat. And this is the cat in question. Whether or not that's a rival or something else, it's really hard to say. Maybe she even just wanted to pass along a warning to Raccoon Clan, since now is the time. I will just give this a quick scroll through here. I'm going to have to do a lot of rolling, so I'll probably just come back when all is said and done, and we'll see what is left of our clan. Drizzlestar calls the clan together and puts them through an important clan meeting. She tells them everything that she knows about the danger, urges the cats to work together and to use their unique advantages to the best of their ability. She says at the end of the day, StarClan is with them, and she is proud of all of them and the efforts that they can bring forward. She is going to protect all of them to her last life, and she will help any cat that she can to go forward with these two legs. As winter is on its eve, the two legs can be seen approaching the abandoned shipwreck. They come in boats and other monsters, attempting to scrounge around for some kind of treasure that these ships may hold. What they don't find is any kind of treasure, and these young two-legs instead only encounter the clan. Laughing with delight and sick glee, they immediately take after the cats with any devices that they can, intending to harm and to capture them. Cats that cannot put up a good enough fight will be either killed or taken away in two-legged monsters to be brainwashed and made into kitty pets. And they will be dead to the clan. Okay, so before I get fully into the results that everything came out to be, I'm just going to explain the process for determining who survives and who doesn't really quickly. So mutations, some of them are neutral in an event, some of them are positive, and some of them are negative. The positive and negative events I already determined ahead of time, and a cat basically just has better chances the more positive mutations it has. A score of 0 means that a cat will just die no matter what. A score of 1 means the cat has a base 1 in 8 survival chance. A score of 2 is a 50-50, and a score of 3 means that the cat will survive. I will say outright we did not have any 3s based off the mutations we had for this event. So I also added an additional plus modifier since 1 in 8 is pretty unforgiving. So if a cat is a warrior and if they have better experience, then they would have an additional modifier. So effectively, if they have a trait of 1, then it's a 1 in 8 chance. But if they're a warrior, which is an automatic +1, and if they have 200 experience, I add an additional 2. So it's a D8 plus, in that case, 3 to survive. So in that case, instead of only being able to roll an 8 for a warrior to live, then they could live if they roll a 5 plus 3 is 8. I hope that makes sense, and if you see any additional modifiers left over from a success, that means that a cat can then put forward their role to helping another cat. So let's take a generic example here. Let's say a cat has 1 positive mutation, so their total score is 1. A cat then needs to roll an 8 shot in order to survive. If a cat is a warrior, that's a +1. If they have, let's just say, every 100 experience, they'll get another plus. So say they had 300 experience and they're a warrior. That is now a +4. If a cat rolls an 8, they can then give their plus modifier to another cat that has a chance of failing their score to make it succeed. If a cat has 0, no matter what any other cat does, that cat will not survive. So I hope that clarifies things. If you see any drifting numbers, that's really all that it means. Soft Apple, who has a muscular body, was one of the first cats to see the 2 legs approaching. Soft Apple, despite not having the most adaptable vision ever, was on strict lookout, trying to protect his clan from the oncoming danger. They don't know what form the 2 legs are coming, they just know that they are, and they know they have to be prepared. Soft Apple, despite the early yowl that he gives up, this only alerts the other 2 legs that the cats are here. The young 2 legs, who are gleeful at the opportunity to harm an animal, immediately grab the muscular cat and throw him into the back of one of their monsters. Soft Apple yowls to get out, running around in a strange setting to try and find a way out. Soft Apple watches helplessly as others of his kind are grabbed by the 2 legs. Lotus Shade, being a very beautiful cat, but not necessarily one that has any traits that two legs are naturally looking for to make them more attractive as two-leg pets. And as she is getting up there in age anyway, she's not an obvious grab for the two legs. The two legs instead are looking out to harm her. One of them throws something that explodes in a shower of glass above her, and she disappears into the far reaches of the medicine cat den. She manages to dig out a way through the sand and the boards of the ship to get beyond them. And using her prehensile tail, Lotus Shade is able to climb to some of the farthest and most dangerous reaches of the ship, and she manages to escape the two legs' notice. She looks on horrified as her clanmates around her scramble to try and get someplace safe. Carnation Tuft, a wise young medicine cat, unfortunately has some disadvantages trying to get away from the two legs with his huge paws. He hides for as long as he can underneath a floorboard, trying to hope that his keen eyes are going to be enough to save him from any oncoming two legs. He's still surprised, however, when a particularly keen-eyed youngster sees him and reaches for his scruff. Yowling, the medicine cat tries to scramble away but trips over his own paws. The two-leg grabs him by the scruff, and the inexperienced medicine cat is not able to escape before the other two legs come along, and the clan can only watch in horror as a young medicine cat is torn apart by these two legs using tools that they've never seen before. They hear Carnation Tuft crying for help, but many are motionless to even try to do so. Unfortunately, Carnation Tuft moves on to StarClan. The cats now realize all too well the danger that they're truly in. Brookfruit, seeing what's happening to young medicine cat, ushers Partridge Kit back further into the cleft of the nursery. Partridge Kit looks on in horror as the two legs release animals, their own dogs, to try and flush out the cats at the camp. Brookfruit, who has poisonous blood, stands before his young Kit, hoping to guard him with his life. One of these dogs that's meant to flush out the cats rushes up to Brookfruit in the wake of the nursery and bites at the young cat. The dog gets a mouthful of Brookfruit's poisonous blood in its jaws and turns yelping before falling and frothing at the mouth. The two legs look on in horror and back away from the strange bleeding cat in front of it, trying to help with their animal. They bring the dog to one of their cars that they have left on the beach, and some of the two legs do drive away to take the dog to the vet. They care more for their dog than they do for these cats that they're injuring. Brookfruit, injured but standing, does manage to survive the attack, and through his brave actions and the similar traits that Partridge Kit actually has, as well as Partridge Kit's keen eyes that alerted Brookfruit to the dog's approach, the two do manage to survive. Shorefleck, who is a normal cat, stands no chance as the two legs swarm around them. One of them grabs her and ushers her into a monster never to be seen again. The clan will never know what happened to Shorefleck, but they will see her walking along the stars someday. She will never make it back to the clan. Wisteria Berry rushes to defend his mate, Brookfruit, from the dog that he sees hovering at the entrance to the nursery. He is, however, grabbed by the scruff and is being held aloft by a two-leg that's attempting to sick the dog further on more of the cats. The two-leg that holds him aloft laughs, and Wisteria Berry is flung through the air mercilessly, disorienting himself. He attempts to reason with the two-leg, only to find that his excellent words fall on deaf ears, and he just can't comprehend how these animals could be acting this way. seeming to take pleasure in the death and harm and capture of his clanmates. He is surprised to see himself end up in a strange wire mesh cage, and as he's being carried away, he sees Drizzlestar actually streaking across the sand to try and save him. She, as she vowed, is going to defend her clanmates, even at the cost of her own life. He sees that she's trying to puzzle out the mechanisms of the cage, and she just about has it when a two-leg pelts her with an object. The strange blunt force object does immediately knock her down, and she loses a life from the trauma of it. Wisteriaberry watches in horror as he is dragged away from his elderly clan leader, but the door itself is almost open. He's put in the back of the car when the two-leg cries out, seeing that his dog is injured. Wisteriaberry uses the uproar in order to manage to wiggle out of the cage, and he darts away. However, Drizzlestar, who is left in the middle of the clearing, unattended and injured from already losing a life, is seen being picked up by another two-leg, who cuts her with a sharp object before dropping her back to the ground, disgusted at the mess that they've just made. Wisteriaberry rushes over to help his clan leader, dragging her back into the shelter of a rock to wait out the rest of the attack. Temple Drip, however, is not as lucky. Her huge paws, like Carnation Tuft, only to prove to be a hindrance, trying to scrabble for grip in the soft sand. She immediately tumbles over herself, scared to death about what is to come, and she doesn't even see the blow coming from one of the two legs objects before she's left lying motionless in the sand forever. Saffron Fade, who is also a normal cat, does not have some of the abilities that would allow her to see the trap that she's falling into. Some of the more gentle two legs that don't necessarily agree with what the males are doing have set out some strange trappings for them. She backs away onto something soft and falls into the sand below, where the two-leg that was hiding and trying to lure cats onto the sandy part of this beach was lying in wait. She's immediately bundled up into this piece of fabric and twists and turns, yowling. She does hear a soothing noise as the two-leg tries to soothe her through the fabric, but she gets her claws stuck in the fabric trying to rip open a hole. Saffron Fade is bundled into the back of a car, hidden from view of the nastier two legs, but she will be made into a kitty pet. She will be an indoor-only cat, and despite many of her attempts to return to her clan, she will die a kitty pet, brainwashed by the two legs. Sardine Rain, who has adaptable vision and a single tail, and has the traits of being a fierce, great fighter, can be seen using her young, inexperienced tendencies, launching herself at every single two-legged dog that she sees in the main clearing, hissing and spitting, trying to get them off of her clanmates as she sees them wielding these sharp objects, cutting at her clanmates, laughing as they're doing so, trying to bundle her clanmates into cars. She will not stand for this, however, and jumps in front of them at every opportunity, slashing at them with her claws, using the singer in her tail to try and weaken them at least. She also uses her small body to dart out of the way, but the two legs, for the most part, find that her beautiful pelt and small body are attractive, and they are trying to get at her, feeling that she's going to be a prize above some of the other cats. She is caught unaware by a blow to the back of her head, which makes her lie motionless in the sand. The two legs then ignore her as she is no longer doing them or their dogs immediate harm. But when they see the dog frothing and remember the strange stings they were feeling along their legs, as well as a strange numbness traveling up their body, they're starting to get a little bit unnerved by what these cats are managing to do to them. One of them approaches Sardine Rain and grabs her by the scruff, trying to figure out what's going on and to see if the strange cat has some kind of disease or ability that is going to bring harm to them, and they're planning on bringing her back with them for, diagnostics and seeing what abilities she has and what's dangerous. If there's going to be something strange to be seen, they also want credit for discovery, too. However, Drizzlestar jumps out of the rock where Wisteria Berry dragged her to. Drizzlestar is not going to see this bright young warrior go, and Drizzlestar latches her fangs deep into the hand of one of the two legs. When the two leg drops Sardine Rain in shock, Sardine Rain acknowledges the sacrifice that her leader has done for her in order to allow her a chance to get away, and Sardine Rain goes and hides in the deeper recesses of the boat that the clan calls their home, and she manages to evade the two legs, and through some of her effort, she has weakened and distracted them enough for some of her companions to get away, namely when they open the door to throw Sardine Rain into the back of the truck. Soft Apple was there, hiding and waiting for the opportunity to get out. Between the efforts of Sardine Rain and Drizzlestar, Soft Apple manages to get out of the car, and he joins in the attack on the two leg that was holding Sardine Rain without any restraint or the hesitation. Drizzlestar, however, is pounded against the car in order to try and dislodge her from the two legs' hand, and she falls to the ground injured and losing a life once again. Soft Apple managed to distract the two leg long enough by running away in the opposite direction for her to regain another life, but she has lost another life. Blue Mallow, who has a singer tail and a seal nose, is immediately targeted for the strange seal nose that he has. He is considered to be a cat, a very strange cat, and the two legs immediately mark him as something that they can take advantage of. However, when one of the younger two legs, they're all relatively young adult two legs, but when one of the youngest ones reaches out for him, he hisses and stings him with his tail. The rest of the two legs do not take this very kindly, and they sick one of the dogs on him. The dog is large, and despite many stings, the dog does do some fatal damage to Blue Mallow, who unfortunately will never rise to see the rest of his clan again. Blue Mallow unfortunately does not make it, but through the efforts of his attempts to defend himself, Blue Mallow does manage to put the other dogs down, where they will not harm the other of his clanmates. Snippaw, who has similar traits to Blue Mallow, is lying injured and weakened in her nest. She sees a two-leg coming from her, and she coughs helplessly. The two-leg laughs at her inability to defend herself as he picks her up by her scruff. Lotus Shade, high atop the ship, sees the two-leg holding her patient aloft and finds that she cannot restrain herself any longer. Hissing and spitting, she uses her prehensile tail to launch herself agilely down the ship and at the two-leg that is holding the sick cat aloft. Between her efforts, Snippaw singing the two-leg, which the two-leg was definitely not expecting a cat to suddenly have a singer on its tail, and pushing that deep into the two-leg's hand. And Drizzlestar, her OG leader, who is going insane trying to help all of her clanmates that she can, and is absolutely devastated by the motionless spies she can already see, has a righteous fire lit in her, and she jumps on the two legs, scratching and spitting. Between the attacks of all three she-cats, the two-leg gives up and drops Snippaw, who is definitely still injured and weakened, but manages to limp away with the help of Lotus Shade to a place where the sick cats, dedicated medicine cat, can shield themselves pushing in probably with Brookfruit and Partridge Kit. Driftburn can see with his adaptable vision all too well the devastation going on with his clan. He stands resolved to his fate as he is older now and can't defend himself as well. His moons as an elder, having retired early, are catching up to him, as well as the traits that lent him to retiring in the first place. Driftburn faces the few remaining two legs and stands tall and proud. One of them pulls out a device, aiming it up to him. He feels a sting in his shoulder, but the shot goes wide. He can see with his very clear vision that the two-leg was holding some kind of device aloft and saw a strange round pellet shooting at him with extreme speed. Whatever the two legs were planning for the cats, with the surprising resistance they were met with, they weren't expecting to be bit, scratched, and stung in a way that they have been. And they plan to take it out on Driftburn, who is the only cat remaining that they can tell is still alive and so well. Drizzle Star, however, sees her mate under attack. She will not stand for this. She cannot lose another of her cats, and she will not let that be her mate. Drizzle Star stands in front of Driftburn, shoving him out of the way with her body, and down this slope of a sand dune, deep into the night, where his dark pelt may hide him better. She already knows what's going to come, and weakened from having lost so many lives, and through her efforts, she knows that she cannot escape this strange device with her enormous paws and aging body. She looks down at Driftburn, lying in the sand dune behind her, and smiles. She tells him to live on, and while she does not want to be forgotten, she does not want to be mourned. She knows that this was a duty that she was to perform for her clan all along, and she is so glad that she had the pleasure to do so. Driftburn watches in horror as the two-leg raises the device again, and with a crack like thunder, Drizzlestar falls, having experienced too much damage for StarClan to heal. The rest of her lives are mercifully taken in one go. Driftburn holds back his cry of grief and shock, as he does not want Drizzlestar's sacrifice to be in vain. Drizzlestar, as she had promised, has sacrificed all 9 of her lives in defense of her clan. She would not have had very good chance to get away from them with her huge paws similar to her kits. And Drizzlestar, through her heroics, has managed to save a few additional cats at the direct cost of her remaining lives. She could have just tried to get away and lost several of her lives in the attack, but would have been able to hide herself away if she had chosen to. Instead, she chose to sacrifice her lives to give her clanmates a better shot that they would not otherwise have had. And Drizzlestar will always be honored for her sacrifice on this dark night, as the two legs bag their prizes, cats living and not, and take them away for research and investigation. And they will always think twice again about harming animals that they believe could not fight back, as they look at the damage done to themselves and their dogs. But unfortunately, our brave leader finds herself in StarClan. Okay, and this is our remaining clan. Soft Apple will become Soft Star, and he will appoint a new deputy. Surprisingly, we still have a medicine cat and our mediator, not to mention a kit. The kit, by the way, rolled a natural 8, so he didn't even need to take the the additional help that Recruit was giving him, but I still accepted that because I don't think a kit naturally, even if they rolled really well, would necessarily have been able to get away super easily. So Partridge Kit was automatically dinged a few points just for being a kit, even a healthy one. Drizzle Star would have lost 1 life if she had simply tried to get away and hidden herself. I actually rolled a d8 to see how many she would lose or be left with, and she rolled really well, but Drizzle Star, being the kind of cat she is, I do not think would have stood by and let her clan suffer. It is through her efforts that Wisteria Berry, Sardine Brain, Snippot, and Driftburn are still able to be here. So she sacrificed effectively 7 lives to save 4, which I'm sure, oh actually Soft Apple too. So she sacrificed her 9 lives to save 5 of her clanmates, and I think that is a trade that she would gladly make any day. And the clan, while definitely reducing numbers, will go on. I think we'll go ahead and time skip 1 more moon to see how this all resolves itself. Okay, so Soft Star has received their 9 lives and become the new leader of the clan. They feel like they're not ready for this new responsibility, but they will do their best to do what is right for the clan. And we'll see their full leader ceremony in a second. They do choose Wisteria Berry to take over as deputy, which I think is fair given the young nature of the rest of the clan. Wisteria Berry is genuinely their best choice. Perkfruit fusses gently with Drizzle Star's fur, hiding the evidence of what killed them. They want to remember them as they were in life, not like this. Perkfruit didn't have the mental capacity to stay for the vigil's entirety, despite their best efforts. Drizzle Star's death has drained them so much. Teary-eyed, Brookfruit settles into their nest, hopeful that Drizzle Star might visit them in a dream. The past moon, Carnation Tuft, Shorefleck, Temple Drip, Saffron Fade, Blue Mallow, and Drizzle Star had taken their place in StarClan. FrogClan mourns their loss, and their clanmates will miss where they had been in their lives. Moments of their lives are shared in stories around the circle of mourners, as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. So much grief and death has taken its toll on the cats of FrogClan. Deerkit, in particular, is shaken by it. Brookfruit does feel better after the strain of seeing Partridge Kit into the world, and Soft Star has gotten white cough. A rogue leaves their litter to the clan. Sardine Rain decides to adopt them as their own. So that's probably where Deerkit came from. So it was definitely a devastating moon, but I really hope that that was still... Oh, look at how cute they are too. So we've got Heather Kit, who's an insecure female kitten. She has heather blue eyes, which is where her name comes from, I'm sure, and a 2-color pelt. She came in at 3 moons and was formerly abandoned. And then we have Deerkit here, who is nervous and is injured. Oh, shock. I imagine it would be very shocking to come into a clan suddenly and look around the devastation that the 2 lakes had left in their wake, the damage that was done to the boats that are their home, and these cats that were absolutely devastated by the loss of so many of their clanmates. So because Sardine Rain actually just adopted Heather Kit and Deerkit, they're just going to be rolled as if they're normal cats coming into the clan. Both of them are normal cats, and now I'm sure you can see the devastation that being a normal cat can have for your odds in this clan. But we definitely need numbers right now, and hopefully these kits can provide numbers and a good new life for the clan. See how everyone's doing in StarClan after all that. Jumpstar is having a serious fight with Carnation Tuft. Drizzlestar watches FrogClan proudly, as she should, given all the sacrifice that she put forward to making sure that many cats were even still there to this day. Shorefleck is thinking about a message to send back to FrogClan. Tumbledrip is missing a loved one, which is probably honestly Driftburn, since her brother and her mother both ended up in StarClan with her this moon. Blue Mallow wishes they could tell Snitpaw how proud they are of them. Blue Mallow is probably just very happy to see at least one of their litter mates make it through. Of the original 6 cats, not very many are still there. Let's check out Softstar's leadership ceremony. He is hoping for a sign from StarClan, probably just some indication that they're still on the right path for FrogClan. Soft Apple leaves to speak with StarClan. They close their eyes and are immediately surrounded by their loved ones, friends, and clanmates who have passed on. Stars shine throughout their pelts, and their eyes are warm as they greet the new leader. The queen introduces himself as Plumplip. They softly touch their nose to Soft Apple's head, giving them a life for affection. Blue Mallow walks up to Soft Apple next, offering a life for acceptance. They smile and say that the clan will do well under Soft Apple's leadership. Pale Kit bounds up to the new leader, reaching up on their hind legs to give them a new life for adventure. They flick their tail and head back to make room for the next cat. Saffron Fade sets forward to give Soft Apple a life for endurance. Soft Apple grits their teeth as the life rushes into them. A young cat is next to give a life. Starlight reflects off their youthful eyes. Hawkpaw stretches up to give a life for honesty. Whale Run strides forward, and energy intercepts that wasn't present in their last moments. They give a life for grace. Tumbledrip dips her head in greeting. Energy surges through Soft Apple's pelt as they receive a life for farsightedness. They reassure Soft Apple that they are almost done. Carnation Tuft approaches next, a warm smile on their face. They offer a life for patience, whispering to take care of the clan the best they can. Finally, Drizzlestar steps forward. There is pride in their gaze as they stare into Soft Apple's eyes. They give a life for loyalty to their clan, advising Softstar now to care for their clan, even at the cost of these 9 lives, just as Drizzlestar did before them. And with that, the rest of StarClan hails Soft Apple by their new name, Softstar, telling them that their old life is no more. They are granted guardianship of FrogClan and are told to use this new power wisely. And the group of starry cats yells Softstar's name in support. Softstar wakes up feeling a new strength within their body and know that they are ready to lead their clan. Softstar vows now to do exactly as Drizzlestar and Jumpstar did before them, guiding FrogClan through both the peaceful times and the difficult times, at the cost of any lives that he has before him. He will uphold FrogClan's values and hopes to nurture this tiny clan back to the strength that they once had, and hope that there's still more before him. Wisteria is wishing Partridge Kit would play more quietly. He's probably just really feeling the strain and stress of all of the loss, and feels that loud joy would probably just not be welcome right now. Lotus Shade is in the medicine den, probably trying to heal the clan's wounds from when they were hurt and the attack, as well as their lingering sickness. Driftburn had a nightmare recently, probably about the events happening, and Partridge Kit, who is now 4 moons old and has seen and endured what he has, probably feels that he's as ready as can be for life before him, and wishes other cats would not baby him as much as they have been. And I think we're gonna go ahead and leave that off there. I don't know how long it's been for you guys, but I've been going quite a while. And I really hope that you enjoyed this first event here. It was devastating for the clan, and I genuinely think that the system I came up with makes it a bit more exciting and fair. Had we not sacrificed all of Drizzlesor's lives, we would have only had Lotus Shade, Brook Fruit, Sardine Rain, Partridge Kit, and Driftburn, I believe, left. And that's definitely still enough to have a clan, but it definitely would have been a lot more challenging. So we still would have had Drizzlestar, but we would have only had these three and these two. No, I'm sorry, these three and this one. And I definitely think we could have rebuilt even just with that, but I don't think it makes sense for Drizzlestar's story to just stand by and hide, which is why I did it as I did it. So I hope that you all agree with that choice. If not, feel free to be mad at me in the comment section below. But I do hope you're enjoying the story and the direction that FrogClan is heading. We will pick up next time with our patrols and just moving forward with the clan and trying to rebuild in the wake of this devastation. I will see you all then, though. Until then, stay safe yourself, stay happy, be careful because you never know what dangers lie around the corner, and I'll see you next time. Bye.